screenplay is much shorter than they used to be. So a screenplay now would be between 95 pages and like 110. That's plenty. You know, you should be done by page 110 for sure. You know, only Robert Altman and screenwriters like that can try to engage Scorsese and can try to engage in a, you know, a 3-hour film or a 2-hour film. It just you have to. We're living in a world where people tweet less than 130 characters. I mean, you're supposed to express your opinion in under a sentence. So that's the world we live in now. So don't expect people to sit around for your long movie.
Yeah.
The first thing people do is they look at the length of a movie when they decide to go to one, and most people don't go to them if they're over 90 minutes. And the other thing, the first thing people do if you send them a YouTube clip through an email, like, watch this clip. First thing everybody looks at is how long is the clip? You know, and you know, and so it's sad that we've all become like that, but we have. So.
Well, tell us a little bit about your writing process. I mean, how did your screenplay for Expect Delays? What was your first ideal concerning that?
Oh, that's a good question. Because I always love hearing writers tell me that. Okay, so my Expect Delays started with I just finished editing Belleville. It's probably being composed. Ted and I talked about doing another film together back in Belleville because we love the actors here and the crew here. And I think we talked about a Christmas movie. And I'd already done one in Montana. And so I wasn't jumping at it because I felt like maybe I'd done that as a director. But then he was saying, we were talking about Christmas films, and he was talking about, you know, Christmas Vacation. And I said, you know, that's obviously a great film, but I don't know a big slapstick comedy like that. That's over our budget, really. We kind of have to have scenes, a movie with longer scenes that have room to breathe, so that we're not doing as many setups in a film. And I love all that anyway, because my whole training in writing and directing comes from one particular company that makes TV shows of all things. And my gosh, I say it every single day now. It's like I've hit my limit of it's the company that made 30 something, My So-Called Life in One Second. And it is Can't Dance by the Light of Bedford Falls. Sorry. And so Marshall Herskovits and Ed Zwick are these writers that came out of film and made 30 something, which changed all of television with one show. So that's my biggest influence as a writer. And I've studied their DVDs, and I think every writer should watch that whole series all the way through. You should listen to those commentaries. You should take notes, and it's the cheapest film school you'll ever go to. You know, but the thing about that show is they were inspired by film, not by TV. So, you know, one episode was inspired by Woody Allen, and one episode was inspired by, you know, Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy films. And so I learned everything I need to know as a director, really, from that, and why you choose an angle, and what angle you choose, and what you're trying to convey as a director. But you certainly know, because that was still an era in television, that you could have longer scenes, and the show itself was longer. You know, shows are 4 minutes shorter than they were in the 80s now. And so because of commercials, more commercials, read. But anyway, so that show, I don't know why I brought that up, but okay. So I thought maybe I'd have a chance to sort of do another take on, you know, a 30-something Christmas episode. And I thought it'd be great to do an ensemble because Belva was so focused on a lead character, the antagonist, you know, the friendship between him and the other lead character. And it was, you know, and I thought I was really looking forward to being able to do a big wide ensemble piece too. Now, Ted and I don't really like the same kind of films very much. So it's always like trying to figure out what he's willing to, you know, pay for and what he wants to play. Because I have to write for him as an actor. So the first movie we made together was Hidden Hills, which was like a Rock Hudson Doors State film that was shot in Los Angeles, which is fast-paced dialogue in 1962. And then the next film we made was Belleville, which was, you know, a film about depression, even though everybody thinks it's about an alien. To me, that's a total film about depression. And I thought it was so funny when I'd watch people bringing their children, because I'm thinking, so thematically not right for children. And I feel like Willie is such an alcoholic, and I'm just like, it's so funny that it morphed in people's eyes as a family film. It's a clean film, but I don't know how it's a family. I don't know how it would appeal to anybody under 18. Maybe some smart teenagers, but anyway. And then I thought, well, okay, so Ted played an alien. He's played a 1962 kind of suave character. So then I thought, well, I really want him to play something sort of masculine and grounded, and I want to see him be a father, and I want to see him with a totally different look and a beard and all that. And Ted loved all that because as an actor, he appreciates that I'm writing something brand new for him. But I said, you're going to be the lead character in this, but you're going to be surrounded by like really brilliant actors that are going to, raise your game. And yeah, those are St. Louis actors, but these are like theater actors who could do, whatever, 70 pages of dialogue on stage. So that's why I decided to do that. But all he was talking about was like, oh, we could do something ensemble, like a Tyler Perry movie. And I was like, no, thank you. I've met Tyler. I think he's wonderful. I respect him as a businessman, but I don't really intend to write a Tyler Perry movie. And then he just goes, no, I just like the energy of that. And I said, that's not really me, Ted. Like, I just don't like scripts. And like, we're not doing a dinner table scene where we're throwing chicken at each other's faces and whatever. And so I said, but, I don't know. I like the idea about it being about a family. And then we started talking about Christmas films we like, and he loves every Christmas film, it seems. And I don't like very many of them, but the ones I do like, I love. So finally we hit upon some movies that we both liked. Home for the Holidays, which is a Thanksgiving film that Jodie Foster directed with Robert Downey Jr. and Holly Hunter. He surprised me and he said he liked that. And I'm like, well, I can write you Home for the Holidays. I can do that. And then I think he'd seen Family Stone too, and I was like, I could do something Family Stone Home for the Holidays. And so so totally we agreed before I started writing. And then he kind of stays out of my way, and then he just doesn't interfere, and he doesn't even get to see the script till it's done. But once we agree on a vision, then that's it. And so, yeah, I just kind of did that. I stopped taking calls for 2 months, and I wrote that. I do an outline first, but like a full-on beat sheet is what it's called. And it's basically every single scene in your movie, what happens in every single scene, and why the scene, I mean, you don't have to write why it exists, but it should be obvious why it exists when you reread your beat sheet. But I don't ever just say, and then something happens, and then we're back at the family, you don't move on with the screenplay until that beat sheet is written. Generally, for a feature that's single-spaced, bullet points, 12 to 15 pages long. It's a horrible process for me. I hate it. It's my least favorite part of writing. I used to have a writing partner that was an engineering grad that worked at the Pentagon, and he graduated from Johns Hopkins, and he was Indian, and he could mathematically put together a story like a mathematician. And I learned so much from him, because all I ever want to do is write dialogue and have it meander and go nowhere. And I'd be fine with that. But that's most audiences would be. So he taught me the value of really shaping that story beforehand. And so now I make myself go through a beat sheet, and it's torture, and I hate it, and it goes on for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. But I'm not even allowed to open final draft until the beat sheet